Welcome to an introductory video for the Bluetooth lighting system from ILLUMRA. This system helps save energy using multiple strategies. It supports high-end trim, it has motion sensors, it has daylight harvesting, and it also can support time schedules. And using Bluetooth, it can be commissioned, configured, adjusted, controlled from any smartphone. We have iPhone apps and Android apps that work with the system. So I'm going to first do an unboxing or an introduction to the different devices. We've got a wall switch, battery powered with two AAA batteries. There's a fixture sensor that connects to an external motion sensor. That system works, and then we also have a motion sensor integrated into a line voltage fixture sensor. So I'll do a brief unboxing here. The integrated fixture motion daylight harvesting sensor is intended specifically for high bay lights. It mounts on the end of a fixture and comes with two different lenses, either a low bay lens that's in the box or the high bay lens that comes on. It also includes a mask so that you can mask off certain areas. If there's a hallway or a doorway, you can choose to block motion sensing over certain regions. The sensor twists off, and it's a NEMA 67 rated waterproof enclosure with rubber gaskets, so it can be used in outside or in areas where there's moisture. Twists back on. The high bay sensor has larger sensing elements on it, so you can tell the difference between the high bay that operates with ceilings up to 45 feet down to 15 feet, or the low bay sensor is for ceilings under 15 feet. And it comes with the the wire nuts. And so I will also, on the install guide, there's a QR code that allows you to download the app very easily. So I'll demonstrate how that works, bringing up any camera. If you train on the QR code, it can detect that it's a QR code, and it'll allow you to navigate to the web link, automatically taking you to the correct store to download or open the app on your phone. In this case, I'm going to click to add the lights, and it will discover the lights in the room. I want to find out which is which, so I'm just going to briefly tap on the light. That happens to be the 2x4 troffer. This one seems to be the one on the table, and this one is in another room, so I don't want to add that to my group. I'm going to choose both of these. Again, the 2x4 and the one on the table, and I will choose to add those. And they will blink to indicate they've been added to the group. And I will navigate back out and choose groups here at the bottom. This is going to be group 1, and the members, I want to just select all. Again, I can touch them to confirm which is which. Oh, it's allowing me to select them. I'll select all, choose done. And it asks me to select what the linkage setting should be. This linkage setting is each one of these has a motion sensor, and when they detect motion, they'll come on to an automatic on level, which I will set later. But during this group mode, I can select a level for all the other lights in the group to come on if any one of them has senses motion. So in this case, if the power pack senses motion, I want the other lights in the group to come on to 10%, and I'm going to choose 10% and save that as the linkage brightness. Then I will choose dimming at the group level, and I can control all the groups in unison, their brightness, all the fixtures that are in this group. And I'm going to select 80% as the high-end trim level, and 79%, and I'm going to save that as the auto on level by pressing this arrow with the A. This will be, whenever they sense motion, it'll automatically come on to that auto on level or high-end trim. Then I'm also going to touch the icon for the motion, the man having motion down below where I can adjust the sensors. The daylight harvesting is an option I can turn on and off. It's called photo sensor. I'm going to leave the photo sensor off in this application. You can turn it back on. The sensitivity of the motion sensor is selectable here. I'll leave that at 100%. And I can choose a time delay for the sensors where after the first time delay they'll go to a dim level, and then after the second time delay they'll turn off. For testing purposes, I'm going to set the first time delay to 1 minute, after which they will dim to 40%, and then after 1 more minute they will turn off, and I will save those settings. The lights will blink to confirm that they're receiving the settings. I can touch the group button name to change the name of the group. This is going to be the ILLUMRA conference room. And there I have set up a complete group, and I want to add a switch that will control this group. So I first need to confirm that the batteries are in the switch correctly. They're in the plastic emboss. It shows the orientation for the individual batteries. There's 2 AAA batteries to power the switch. Then I click to add the switch, and to add it I press 2 buttons simultaneously, the top wide one and the top left small one, or the middle left small one. When I click that, hold those 2 switches, or 2 buttons for 3 seconds and then release those. It'll detect that a switch has been added. I see the number 1 pop up and I press done. Now I can configure the switch by pressing the gear icon, and I want it to control a group, the ILLUMRA conference room group, and I will go to the next step where it allows me to select which scenes would be controlled by the scene button in the lower right corner that has the mountain icon. I want to cycle between 3 scenes. There's a blue outline that I can put around the one I want to choose, but the first selection will be the full light. Then I want to go to a presentation mode, and finally it will go off if I press that scene button 3 times. I'll save those settings, and I can now control it from either the representation on the screen of the switch or the switch itself. I'm able to, this top button as well with the light bulb brings it to the auto on level. So either with motion it'll come to that level, or by pressing the top button I can cycle through the 3 scenes, off, full on, and then the presentation level by pressing the scene button multiple times. And I can also brighten and dim. And under the More menu, I can do a couple of different things. First of all, I want to turn the lights on to the auto on level, and then I want to do a functional test where I'm going to test the motion sensor. So I'm going to press motion sensor test, the lights will turn off, and if I trigger just the motion on this light, it'll turn this light on to 80% like we configured, and this other light is being turned on to 10% because of the linkage setting. And when that light sees motion, it'll brighten to 80%. So we've been able to test the motion sensor functionality. We can also set a time delay, set timed events to happen. So under timers, if I add a timer, this is going to be when the store opens. I want to schedule an action at the group level for all of the lights in the ILLUMRA conference room to turn on, and I can choose to repeat this on a schedule Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 a.m. and I'll save that. The fade time is going to be 10 seconds, and it's going to, I can either choose to turn them off or on to the auto level. So they're gonna all come on to 80% as I saved as the auto on level or high-end trim level, and then I save that, and that timed action will happen tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and I can also add a second one. The other important feature is the ability for it to have these barcodes and have multiple zones. So under the My Zone screen, I can choose to bring up a admin barcode and allow other users of this app to scan this barcode, and they will gain access to make any adjustments to the settings that will be saved on the fixtures themselves, so that the next time I come into the space, any settings that were saved by an admin are available to everyone that has that level of access. Or I can bring up the user barcode, save that, either save it as a screenshot or save it as a file, and it'll allow users not to make changes to the schedules or the groups, but to control individual lights and adjust the brightness. So if these QR codes are lost and no one in the building has access to the QR codes, the lights can be reset following some instructions where they have to be power cycled 6 times in a certain pattern. The instructions are in the manual. And that will be necessary to gain control of the lights and the control settings unless the QR code has been saved, and then anyone with the app will be able to access the settings. Now that I've done a full demo of the system, we've covered ways that we can set timed events. We can also set the motion sensor events, have linkage so that other fixtures in the same group, even if they didn't send motion, they can come onto a preset level. We can also activate the daylight harvesting sensor and adjust a high-end trim level. And because of the grouping, this is a network control system where all the lights are communicating with each other and controllable from the app with the time schedule. So very full-featured lighting control system. Very excited to share it with you. And in this case, I want to get it ready for a demo, to be able to demo it the next time. So I'll briefly show you how to set that up. On the timers, I want to delete this timer by sliding it to the left and pressing delete and confirming that. I want to delete the switch by pressing the gear icon and the trash can icon. I can delete the switch, and then I can go to the lights and select the lights, and I will put a blue check mark on each of the lights that I want to delete, and they will all be deleted and restored to factory configuration, so I'm ready to do another demo the next time. We're excited about this new system and look forward to helping you with your lighting control needs. Thank you.